Hi there, welcome Elite 10 member. Not really scheduled to jump on and do a live tonight. We start tomorrow, don't worry, we haven't started yet. We're definitely starting tomorrow night, that is Sunday night. At 5 o'clock I'll be going live. But I got excited and I wanted to jump on before that. So I'm also going to post an official welcome with your next steps of what to do. Right now though, I wanted to kind of jump on, say hello, and also introduce myself to those in particular that don't know me or haven't met me. So firstly, welcome to the Elite 10 squad. Very excited to have you here. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about, I guess, why I've created this Elite 10 program. So I have an online program. It's a 12-month program. Also have a 90-day, write a book in 90-day challenge. And what I found is that for a lot of people, they needed something. Look, I'm going to say it straight out. Mindset got in the way. So those that are in the program, you know what I'm talking about. We go over this in the first couple of weeks. We talk all about mindset and getting that really, really solid. And in fact, it is something that we do all the way through the 90-day challenge program. So what I find, a lot of people, they let themselves get in the way. They try and look at the end result. So they try and look at, for example, a finished copy of a book and go, that's so hard to do, instead of looking at it as being a piece at a time and steps. And because they don't know the steps, I mean, it's completely understandable. I mean, I do it myself. I think a lot of us humans, I think we do that with things that we're uncomfortable with and that we're not used to and that we haven't done before. Quite often we'll look at the outcome. We'll look at what everyone else has done and think that that is supposed to be the first step, not realizing everything that's gone on before that. In fact, I actually posted on my own profile today, not much, but just a little snippet of my personal journey throughout my life. And I basically said it's taken 10 years from the moment of me getting out of my own way, or let me just rephrase that, starting to get out of my own way before I got where I am right now. It's not an overnight success. There is no such thing as an overnight success. Every overnight success doesn't take into account the years and years and years of work and working towards that before it. We just see the outcome. So it's understandable so many people get attached to that outcome. So this is why I created the Elite 10, to give you an idea of the steps, to actually give you a helicopter ride over the 7 steps that you need to take to go from no idea to published author. And that could refer to a book, but it also is useful for articles, blogs, content posts, anything at all that you want to write. And that's why this is such a powerful methodology that I'm going to share with you, because you can right now in these 10 days prove to yourself that this program works and that this process works and that these steps work. And then the kind of half the mindset around the can I do it is out of the way. So if you do want to write a book, this is a fantastic place for you to be, to test the waters. Okay, for those that are already in the online program, the right now 12-month online program, I know that for most of you, you're in here to get that helicopter ride of what's coming your way. You've already made the decision, but understandably there's a little bit of that, God, what have I said? What have I just signed myself up to? What am I doing? So this gives you a great helicopter ride. And it's also going to give you a tangible outcome within the 10 days. For those of you that are doing the 90-day challenge, this stuff by now, because we're in like step 5. So this stuff for you guys, you're going to be like, cool, but you know what, you're still going to pick up some awesome stuff. So really awesome to have you guys on board as well. Now for those of you that aren't in any of the programs, don't worry, you don't need to be to understand this process that I'll be unpacking for you, because I'm literally going to give you the gold. Now I'll be straight up with you. The program has hours and hours and hours of content, so I trust that you get, in the 10 days that we spend together, I'm giving you a little bit and I'm giving you actions. And if you go and do those actions, you'll get a lot out of it. You really will. But you're only going to get this much. And I trust that makes sense, and that's cool and you're okay with that. So otherwise, I don't have time to be on here like all day for the next next year, which is how long it took me to actually create everything. So the steps, let me just kind of explain really briefly the steps that we're going to go through, because we've got 10 days and we've got 7 steps. So some of those steps are going to go over 2 days. The first step is spine, and I won't unpack all the steps now because that's what we've got the next 10 days for. But the first step is spine. We start that tomorrow, and we're doing that for 2 days. The reason we're doing that for 2 days is if you don't have a solid spine, nothing else works. And that's what's really important about the program that I'm going to share with you, or the steps I'll be sharing with you over the 10 days. You need to do them in order. If you jump ahead, you're going to be missing some really important stuff. So if you miss a day, for example, I would recommend don't jump on the live for today. So just say you were watching and you missed yesterday. Don't jump on today's live. Watch yesterday's first, then watch this one, and then watch the next one. And still do them in order, so that you don't miss out on any of the really epic and awesome stuff. So 7 steps, Scrawls, SCRAWLS, and I'll go through them and we'll unpack them over the 10 days. Like I said, some will be 2 days, some will just be 1. Now, tomorrow, one of the things that I'll be asking you to do is set an intention for this 10-day program. What do you want to get out of it? So I'd advise that you start having a think about that right now. And one of the things, if you don't know, if you're like, oh, you know, I'm actually not too sure what I want to achieve in the 10 days, I would recommend you do this. I would recommend that you write an article and submit it to a magazine, or you write a blog post and you submit that online. But I recommend you do something you either haven't done before or usually takes you a long time. And why I say that is there's one particular person who is in the online program, may or may not be in the Elite 10, I'm not too sure yet actually, and she went from taking 3 days to write an article down to 2 hours, simply using these 7 steps. It kind of just structured the process for her so much that it made it really easy. So I recommend taking something that you do regularly that you want to, like, you know, squish down the time factor, or do something completely new. Now, I wouldn't recommend writing a book in 10 days. It's doable, totally doable, and particularly with the program, or with the 7 steps of Scrawls, totally doable. But you wouldn't be doing anything else. Okay, you would be doing only that. And what I provide in the Elite 10 will be enough for you to do it. Won't be enough for you to do it at a level of quality that I would hope for you. What I mean by that is, most people teaching people how to write a book are marketers. So they actually don't, it's not so much about the content, it's more about the marketing, it's more of using it to grow the business. I'm more about the message, I'm more about the use of words, how to use words, and intuitive writing, which is the huge difference between me and the marketers. So one of the things I wanted to suggest to you, perhaps, and this, you do not have to, this is an offering, if you want to, and you don't yet have something to focus on in the 10 days as an outcome, we have a magazine in my company. It's called The Thought Collective. This is volume 1 that came out a few months ago. Now, volume 2 was initially closing on the 30th of August, and I've extended that date simply so that you guys can get in if you want to. Now, The Thought Collective is a collection of articles, poems, thoughts as in quotes, short stories, like we've got an article there, fiction and non-fiction, but it's related to a particular topic. Let's see. So article, but it's related to a particular topic. So our first one was I Amness. The one that's due to be published soon is it's all about the why. Why you do what you do. Why is important. Why, you know, having that big, hairy, audacious why is such an important thing, and why it's also important to know what you're aiming for. So not the outcome, let me just be really clear on that. We're not talking about why it's important to have an outcome or attached to that outcome, because we're talking about why it's important to follow your soul, follow your path, follow your flow. I trust that makes sense. That's what it's all about. So there's more information about that too on the I Am Publications website. So if you go to iampublications.com.au or iamacademy.com.au and click up the top where it says I Am Publications, and you'll be able to find out more about this. So over that 10 days, you may choose as your personal outcome to write something to submit to the I Am Publications, I Am Academy and I Am Publications, the Thought Collective magazine. So there's another one that we've got too. We've got an anthology coming out, which is a fictional anthology. It's called The Planetary Traveler's Guide to the Milky Way. And it is, it's not sci-fi or anything. It's got a, the only rule is it has to have something to do with exoplanets. So planets that are not ours, but it doesn't have to be sci-fi. It can be any genre. Again, it could be poems, it could be short stories, anything. It could be like an article, like anything that you want. But so actually, not so much an article, unless the article is written in a fictional context, because it is a fictional anthology. So if you want to submit fiction, that's perfect. That too was going to close on the 30th of August, and again I've extended that specifically because I knew I had the Elite 10 guys coming on board. And I know that for some of you, particularly those already in the program, you're actually doing the Elite 10 for this reason. You're actually doing it to submit to the Thought Collective, which is amazing. Amazeballs, which is one of my favorite words at the moment. So epic. Or choose any other outcome that you want. Completely up to you. But start thinking about that now, because we'll get that and we'll set that in place on day 1, so tomorrow. All right, beautiful. That's everything that I want to cover for now in regard to the program. Lastly, because as I said, I'll do a proper introduction and we'll go into day 1 tomorrow and go over it a bit more. But I did want to introduce myself a little more, particularly, as I said, for those that I haven't met. So my name's Karen McTaggart. I'm an author. Now, I've been writing since before I can remember. I don't know how old. I know how old I was when I wrote my first horror story, because my background is a horror fiction writer. So I was 10 years old when I wrote my first horror story, but I was writing stories before that. I was writing poems. I actually don't know how old I was when I started, and I kind of can't figure that out. So I've just gone on the oldest thing that I have, which would place me around 8 or 9. Rock on. So I've been writing seriously, and by that I mean making the decision that this is the thing I'm going to do, and that it's my pathway, for about 10 years. Okay, so what's the year? 2000? Yes, yeah, 10 years. So 10 years. At the end of this year, it will be my 10-year anniversary as a I guess an embraced writer. So wrote my first novel in 2008. Took me 4 years to publish because I had no idea how to do it. Now I write and publish from idea to published in 90 days. I have a program that does that, and so I actually write a book alongside those guys every 90 days. So this year I've written, oh gosh, let me see, Human Concept, Unhustle, Say No, Be Okay With It, Cubes Guide to, yep, so I'm up to 4 this year that I've written, and it's in August, and my aim is to write 5 books a year. So this is not all of them. This is not including my first one or anything, but this is just few of the books that I've written. I have one here, which is right now, which is actually the my program book. So it's actually an overview of the program, and basically this is really what the Elite 10 is going to be based on. So I'll be sharing some content from here, as in exercise and things like that, but you will be getting some additional gold as well, because this is the cream of the program. You'll get additional stuff because that was written at the end of last year. So there's a little couple of extra bits of gold that you're going to get that weren't yet in my spectra, that will be shared in the Elite 10 program as well. And then lastly, I wanted to show you as well some books that some of my guys have done. So I've mentioned already the 90-day program. This is just a couple of them. These are a few books. And I don't know, a couple missing there. The rest must be in the back room or my office. So these are just a few books that have been written in the 90-day program. So these books started off with absolutely no idea, and then in 90 days they were they were published. So amazeballs. And that was from following the system and following the program. And I want to share one more really cool thing with you as well. One of my authors then took the program, like took the 7 steps, as simple as that, just took the 7 steps and implemented them to help her 7, he's 8 now, but he was 7 3/4 at the time, her 7-year-old to write a book. So there he is, amazeballs, yeah? And that was just from taking the 7 steps that she was given and creating that. Beautiful. So that's it. What else? So just a little bit more on me, just to give you a little bit of background. So I've been seriously writing and publishing for 10 years, or writing for 10 years, publishing for 6, because obviously it took me 4 years to publish that first book. And now I do, like I said, 5 books a year. And what I do is help other people to do that, because I've now got the system and structure down where I know what to do. Just do that. Just follow the steps. And I know the problems that come up. I know the fears. I know where people get stuck. I know what to expect every time. So I do the 90-day program. Also have the 12-month program online on imacademy.com.au under programs. And also now we have this Elite 10. So this is the first time I've run the Elite 10, but this will be something that I do consistently as well, because it's just really cool to be able to, I guess, get it out there. I actually had a bit of a tough week a couple of weeks ago, and I remember taking a moment for self and being really grateful for self that I had these steps so that my book was not going to fall behind or suffer despite everything that I was going through. So I have a lot of faith in my own process. And like I said, I use it. So I'm not just teaching you a program and a process. I use this program and process, and I use it on books. I use it on articles, blogs, content. I used it to write the Elite 10 program. So that is everything. I am so looking forward to having you guys join me tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. And we're going to rock out with day 1, which is all about spine. Watch out too, I'll have an official welcome post. It'll be a written post with your next steps, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you all tomorrow night. Have a fantastic one. Until then, rock forth with awesomeness.